Everybody, welcome to our next episode of Recovery Unplugged, going to you live on the Amy Unplugged channel. What's up, Amy?
Nothing much.
How are you tonight?
Just getting extras signed on for the movie, and then searching out a replacement sound guy. So if anybody's watching this and they can run a boom and an H4n, email me, inbox me, contact you, and then you'll send them to me.
Good experience. We'll sign off on your internship hours if you're in school. If you need a place to stay, you'll be staying with some other dudes. If you're a girl, you'll be staying with some other girls. And it's a fun week on set, right? Or how many days do you need them for?
I need them. Okay, so I've got a guy for the first 2 days.
Okay.
So I would need someone for the last 5. So the 23rd through the 28th. And really the 28th is just a day for pickups in case we didn't get to something during those from the 21st to the 27th.
Gotcha. So you heard that. Sound people, inquire within. Contact Amy, myself, or Amy Unplugged.
If you were in New York, I could help you.
I know.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So this is Recovery Unplugged, Amy. We usually come in and talk a little bit more about Letters to Daniel, and then we get right into the interview. What are you feeling today? I think we should introduce our guest and then kind of take it from there.
I think we'll just go ahead and dive on into the interview.
Yeah. All right.
Because once I do the introduction, I'll want to do the whole interview.
I know. See, I shouldn't have asked that. I asked that question too early.
Okay.
All right. Well, then I'm going to let you do the introduction. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I'll see you guys at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Tonight, we have a very special guest, a brilliant artist with paintings hanging in the cutting room in New York, a gifted actress who has had roles on shows such as The Sopranos and has directed the multi-award-winning pilot St. Joseph. Breast cancer survivor, festival director of not one but 2 film festivals, in the Cutting Room Short Film Festival and the Glamorous Venus Italian Film Festival in conjunction with AOF. I'm proud to say she is my friend. Please welcome first woman of AOF, Kathrina Miccio.
Hi.
Let's dive right in and tell. Why don't you tell us about how your paintings and filmmaking and acting are the same and how they're different?
Well, I mean, it's all in art, right? I originally went to school for art. When I was in high school, I really wanted to be in the in the theater, in the theater, but I was really shy when I was in high school. Believe it or not, I know.
I don't believe it.
I'm telling you, nobody would believe it. But when I was younger, I was very shy. I've since changed, but and like the closest I think that I got to being on any kind of play was I wore like a coconut bikini in the South Pacific. So that was my big role
in high school
as like a backup kind of dancer in South with coconuts on. But it was fun. And then so I said, I guess maybe theater isn't for me, because I just associated theater and acting with musicals. And so I really didn't pursue that, but what I always did was paint. So I went to school for art, and I have a degree, I have a BA in fine arts. And then I went back to school and got went for a teaching degree in education. And while I then all of my art credits um, fell over and into that, I had so many art credits that I said, oh, I wanted to. It was a theatrical school too, theatrical college. So I took a ton of acting classes, and that's where the teachers were like, you have to do this. And they really pushed me. So over the years, I've done both. I've painted, and I have like 20 paintings at the cutting room of musicians that when they come in and perform, like major musicians like Roger Daltrey from The Who and Ronnie Wood, David Crosby, Todd Rundgren, they when they come in, I do a painting of them and they sign it. So we have some amazing collection at the cutting room right now. So so that's one of the things that I do. And I also got into acting probably in I think it was in 2000 is when I got my SAG card. And I got it because a director knew me, and he's like, "Kat, I think that you could do this part." I'm like, "Really? I really haven't done much. I've taken classes." No, just do it. Okay. So all of a sudden I was in a film with Richard Lynch. He was known for all of his villain things, and I think it was Halloween, or he was in a bunch of major villain movies. And so I'm like acting with this major star like right away. And then I was a must join for SAG, and I've been SAG since then. And I've gotten some cool parts on Ed, on The Sopranos, on The Wrestler. I worked with Mickey Rourke. And Marissa Tomei. I was in a scene with them. I worked with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin in A Shortcut to Happiness. I worked, in my film, I had Vinny Pastore from The Sopranos on there, which he's I love Vinny. Who else? I worked with Gary Sinise on The Forgotten. I didn't make the cut really. I played his wife, and in the cut of The Forgotten, you just see like he gets up and he talks to his psychiatrist Julianne Moore, right? So he answers the phone, and I'm just like the body next to him. His wife. There was more to that, but that's what got cut. And I was like, and I had my own trailer. It was pretty amazing. I had an audition. I had wardrobe, makeup, hair to be like sleeping next to him. That was pretty funny. But that was early in my career. I've then since done more. Thank God.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've had the honor of working with such greats as James Gandolfini,
Yes.
and Edie Falco, among many others. The show The Sopranos.
Yeah.
What was that like for you, and did it up your game as an actress?
Absolutely. When I met James, I called him Jim, on the show, I first started there working as a bada bing bartender. And it kept me in shape anyway. It was pretty, it was pretty fun. And we met, and one thing led to another, and we ended up dating for about a year.
Wow.
And he was very, very supportive of my art career and also of my acting. So he was amazing. And it's, you know, it's I still can't believe that he's gone. You know, he was a force of life. You know, he was extremely intelligent. He used to read like 5 books at a time, and he was very, very supportive of me. And I had an art show in 2006, I think, and he supported my show, and he was just amazing, you know. Anyway, so what was the other question? I'm sorry, I got a little nostalgic and sentimental
Um,
there.
well, you did as it was. What was it like for you, and did it up your game as an actress?
Absolutely, you know, having someone like that being supportive of me was, yeah, definitely. He pushed me, you know, instead of just having small parts, bit parts here and there. He, you know, pushed me to get an agent, pushed me to be an actress, not just be a bit, you know, a bit part actress. So he definitely helped me with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a multi-award winning filmmaker, writer, actress.
Mhm.
Your pilot, St. Joseph's, was incredibly well received and starred Vincent Pastore, as you said, also of The Sopranos. Take
Yes.
us from idea to script to screen. What was that process like?
Wow. Well, I'll try to make it as short as possible. I've known Vinny and probably 90% of my cast. I knew. And okay, I'm going to back up just a little bit. I was married at one point, and he didn't want me to act, and it was a whole thing. And then when I got divorced, I then in the same month that my divorce was final, I got breast cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a awakening. So I went through all the treatments. I lost my hair, my eyebrows, you know, it was vicious for. I had 6 months of chemo, 3 months of radiation, 5 days a week, surgeries, infusions, and it was a year and a half of hell, basically. But I always kept my spirits up, and I always thought positive. And by doing that, really helped me, you know. And I really never felt sick. It was a mental thing, you know. I looked like a Martian, you know, but I would put my wig on or my scarf, and I would try to go to work and, you know, try to live a normal. I never really looked at people like staring at me. Some people would say, my friends or my mother or somebody would say, "Oh, yeah, I hate when people stare at you." What? They are? I didn't even know that they were looking at me, you know, because I was just oblivious. I was just going to get through it, and that was it. So while I was going through all those treatments, I said, you know what? I'm tired of people looking at me like, "How are you doing? You okay? Are you all right? You're right now, right? You okay?" Oh, I am so not that kind of person. I appreciated all of the concern, but I'm like, oh my God, these people are looking at me like there's something wrong with me, and I'm not used to that. I'm
Yeah.
used to being really healthy and strong and going for it and doing everything. And now they're looking at me like, you okay? Oh no. You know, so I said, I got to turn this around. And now that I was cancer free, I said, I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna pay it forward, and I'm gonna write a comedy. So instead of people going, "You're right," they're gonna laugh instead, you know. And I wanted people to really laugh, and I wanted to make a silly comedy, not dirty, no dirty words or totally G, you know. And I had an idea, and for the past few years prior, I had an idea for I never really I wrote a few things before, but I never wrote a full script. I had like all these ideas in my head. And I had a neighbor across the street from me that actually had this 3-foot St. Joseph that really leaned on her house, and it was there for 3 years, leaning on her house, and it used to drive me crazy. There's actually a superstition that if you want to sell your house, you take a small 3-inch statue of St. Joseph, you turn him upside down, and you bury him in your backyard facing your house, and you sell your house fast. Right? So when we sold my ex's house, we did that, and we had a bidding war on the house. 160 couples came through the house, and they didn't know what was going on in the neighborhood. We didn't even have a sign in the, on the lawn. All these people were coming through. So it worked. It ended up really working. And so I always thought to myself, well, if a 3-inch statue would sell your house, maybe I could get rid of these people and bury a 3-foot one. What would happen then? In my mind, I knew I wasn't going to really go to their yard and bury this. In my head, I wanted to, and that's when you write a story, right? Something that you wish you could do, or it's like acting, right?
Yeah.
It's like something that you could make up. You make up characters. So I made up characters, and I actually wrote this story, and about these neighbors that had this statue, and in the night I went and buried it, and all chaos comes out, and it's a very silly, punny film. And so I was gonna write a series, but now I just turned it into a feature. And I really can't talk about what's happening right now, but
yes.
Fingers crossed. And yeah, there's a little bit of a deal going on. So we'll see. Maybe, hopefully, the next time I'm on, I'll be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're very funny and have a large personality. Has that helped you in your career and life?
Yes. Yeah, because I do always look at the bright side of life. I have a picture. It's a saying that when I was 5 years old, my mother said that the meaning of life was to be happy. And when I was in school, they said, "What's the meaning of life?" And I said, to be no, write an assignment of what the meaning of life is. I said, well, the meaning of life is to be happy. They're like, no, you don't understand. I said, no, well, you don't understand life. So that's, so that's kind of what I look at life as. Look, you got one, especially after going through cancer, you look at life in a complete, a life-threatening thing. If they didn't throw me right into chemo, I wouldn't have been around in a year's time. It was really aggressive. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. The doctors were like, do what we tell you to do. And you'll have 98% chance it'll never come back. I was like, all right, if you're telling me that, then I was, I was unlucky at the fact that I got the breast cancer, but I was lucky that I got the type of breast cancer that there was a 98% cure for. So with that, I said, okay, I got to go through this and deal with it. And then after that, I'm going to, come out singing. And I do that in the movie too. I roll at the end. So, yeah. And, having a sense of humor helped me write a comedy. And I can't believe how far it's gotten. 20 awards. I have I think there's 15 for the film, Vinny got an award. Angela Pietropinto got an award for my supporting actress. I got like 3 for lead. You know, the film, the ensemble, it was just pretty remarkable how it, people really liked it. And they know a lot of people, when I do Q&A, they're like, I know that. I've done it. My aunt did it. She sold her house. My friend did it. Yeah, it really does work. So it's funny when when people like, oh, I know that. You see them like itching to get out of this. He's like, no, I know that. So it's funny. And you know what? People that don't know about it, like I met this real estate agent the other day, and I'm like, you're a real estate agent? Do you know about the St. Joseph? You'll sell houses. Yeah, just go on Amazon. They sell the St. Joseph home selling kits. For real.
Okay. Well, whom or what has served as your biggest inspiration or inspirations on your career path?
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I think while I was acting, one of a huge inspiration was when I worked on this film with Anthony Hopkins. We're watching him making decisions on uh every take. He did the line, he did his scene differently. Every single take. It was crazy, and everyone was amazing, and I'm going, oh my God, I got to do that. I have to do that. When I act, I can't do the same thing over and over. You have to just make it just a little bit different, and mold the way that you say a line just a little different every time. First of all, because you don't know how it's gonna, you just take it and go with that. And also they'll have a lot more to pick and choose, that as a filmmaker, as an
Right.
editor, that you'll have more choices to choose from too. But watching him was pretty amazing. When I was working on The Wrestler, Marissa Tomei was so cool. She was so cool. Watching her act, and of course, Julie Roberts is my favorite. I love it. I don't know. I never worked with her. I worked with her brother, Eric Roberts. I worked on a film with him about 6-7 months ago, something like that, and that's as close as I got to Julia working with her brother. But yeah, I would. She's an idol of mine. I would love to meet her.
She's
But
your
yeah, I just love
Daniel.
everything that she does. And I just did a scene from Erin Brockovich in this workshop that I'm in with Vince Caratola from The Sopranos. He played Johnny Sack. He played the New York boss on The Sopranos. I've been taking a workshop with him. He's amazing. Yeah, so I think, yeah, everybody that I work with, I get something out of them, and a lot of people inspire me just by watching them act. Um, when you get feedback from another actor, you see their choices and what they're making too. And it's pretty cool because, when you study your lines, usually by yourself doing that, right? And then all of a sudden you're working with somebody and you go, oh, is that the way you see it? Oh, how cool. you know? It might not have been the way I saw it, but let's try it. So yeah, I get inspiration from everybody I meet. you know, from somebody I'll meet in the street. They'll inspire me by something that they did, or an act of kindness, or, something.
You are, as we've touched on, you're also a breast cancer survivor. If
Yes.
you don't mind, could you share a little of what that journey was like from diagnosis to recovery?
Whew. Wow. Well, like I said, it was August 23rd, a Sunday, 2015. So it really wasn't that long ago. I was ready to go to the beach with my friend Steve, who owns the cutting room where my paintings are. His family is down the shore. I was going to go down there, and I had just gone for biopsy. And of course, having no history of breast cancer in my family, I was like, it's going to come back negative. There's no way that I could have breast cancer. It can't be possible, because there's not only breast cancer, there's no history of cancer in my family at all. Zero. My father had a little thing in his ear. Oh, we're like, oh my God, I hope it's not cancer, and he went for a test. It was nothing. And that was as close as like a scare that we ever had. And now I have this aggressive. So anyway, so the doctor called me, and he told me, the bad news is that you have breast cancer, and it's almost in stage 2 right now. But the good news is that if you do what we tell you to do, there's a cure, pretty much a full cure, 98%. I mean, you don't get 98% a chance of crossing the street and surviving in Manhattan. So I was like, okay, that's pretty good. So what am I going to do? It was horrible. But I didn't even have a chance to cry. And really soak it all in, because it was like, you go, so now this is your schedule for the next year and a half. I was, what? Yeah, you're going to do 6 months of chemo. You're going to do surgeries. You're going to have, biopsies and this and that and radiation. And I'm like, I don't even know what chemo is. I never I never saw what chemo, right? So when my first chemo, all my family was in the room, and because we didn't know what, none of us ever experienced this, right?
Right.
So they're there, and they asked my family to get out of the room when they were hooking me up to this. They call it the red devil, right? Because it's this red stuff that they're about to inject in my veins. The nurse comes in with what looks like a hazmat suit. I'm like, why are you dressed like that? And you're gonna put that in my body? What?
This tells you cancer's evil.
What? Wait a minute. Something doesn't look right here. You're putting something in my vein, and you're protecting yourself from toxins. Really? Okay, great. Here you go. And I'm like, I always ate organic, and I'm not a full vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian, but I always ate good, worked out, yoga, blah blah blah. And now I'm having this red, disgusting stuff, toxins go in my body, but it's going to save my life, so that's what you do. So had that for 2 months, and then after doing that, the chemo,
It's
within
10 o'clock.
Oops, my what's my computer? What time it is? I can't get it off. It's every hour it tells me it's 10 o'clock. And I thank them. So with that, within 24 hours, you have to take a needle and put it in your stomach, right, and inject your stomach. I'm like, what? I don't think I could do that. So I was going to the hospital and like going all the way to the hospital to get one injection and then leaving. And then I was like, this girl that lived next to me in this building was a dental assistant, right? She was going to school to become a dental assistant. So I was like, oh, she deals with needles. She could do it. So she's like, yeah, I could do it. So I went over. She was a little ditzy, but nice to do this, right? So we open up this thing. It's a $5,000 injection.
Oh.
It's $5,000. So we open it up and we roll out the instructions on how to undo the safety whatever latches on this needle, right? So, it's like boom, 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 like from 1 to 15. Okay, first you do this, and then it looked like a rocket ship of an. I'm like, what is that? How are we gonna get to it? So we're doing it and doing it. So finally, she goes, I think I got it. I got it. I got it. She goes to put it in my stomach. The needle never it never went through, right? And it stopped, but the stuff came out and ran right down my leg.
Oh
no! $5,000 right down my leg. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to get this within 24. My immune system is going to be affected. I need to get it. So I was like, I have another one in the fridge. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to charge me $5,000? She's like, I'll pay for it. I'm so sorry. I mean, now I talk about it. It was funny.
Yeah, it's funny, not then.
My immune system. So I went back in the fridge and I'm like, I can't take another chance. So we actually went on YouTube and found out how to do this. Believe it or not.
Everything's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. And we went step by step, and we figured it out, and we got this thing in me. And then after that, I just ended up doing it myself,
Yeah.
But once she wasn't there, and I called down to the concierge, I'm like, I can't do this. Is there a doctor in the house? And it was like up to the last hour of the 24 hours. I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. That hurt less than anybody that ever did that to me. I ended up doing it myself right after that.
Okay, so
I guess it's like tweezing your own eyebrows, It hurts less when you do it, or if somebody else does it, it's like, ow. So something like that, I don't know.
Okay. Did you suffer any symptoms of depression at any time while battling this disease?
Of course.
Yeah.
I it wasn't all fun,
Right.
Especially after that injection. The doctor would say, well, you might get sick from it, I'm like, what? Well, you might feel like you're having a heart attack, but you're really not.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, all right. So the first time I did that injection, I was like lying in bed, I'm watching TV. All of a sudden, I went, oh! It was kind of like a Pulp Fiction moment.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I felt like an elephant literally stepped on my sternum right here, and I was like, okay, I'm not having a heart attack. I'm not having a heart attack. Okay, he told me it's not. So like going through things like that, you know, and the radiation was vicious. The radiation was that was really hard because I had 33 treatments, and after the 20th one, I was good. My, you know, my skin was just like, it looked like it was a little burnt, whatever. And then the 21st, um, after the 21st session, my skin broke and it turned into like one of the worst infections that that they've ever seen.
Oh.
And it was like all under my arm and all this whole, my neck, it was open. And I mean, it sounds gross, but it was really, really, really bad burn. And I was putting all this creams and whatever. I'm like, I don't want to get scarred. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair that I should get scarred. My body should get scarred. I'm putting all this cream and stuff, you know, anything that I could find. And so they were really trying to help me. But then, like, on top of it, okay, I had to go back the next day, and then the next day on top of that. So, you know, radiation is a burn, right? And you have to stay there and burn your body on top of this horrible infection I had. So that really, that was probably the worst that I went through, because then I kind of started feeling sorry for myself, because I already went through 6 months of chemo. I already had surgeries, and now I have this radiation that is burning my body. And you know, you get a little burn. You know, whoops, oop, you cut, you know, you burn your finger from the teapot or something. And it really hurts, right?
Right.
Imagine like a major, and I'm voluntarily going and burning myself. So that took a lot out of me. Did I go into depression? I don't know. I don't know if it was. I tried not to think that it was. And I didn't want to ever feel sorry for myself. I didn't want people to feel sorry for me, and I didn't want to feel sorry for myself. But pretty much sucked, you know.
Yeah.
And and on top of it, just going through a divorce, you know. So I was alone, and I was going through all my money, because I couldn't work for
Right.
a year and a half. Whatever money you know, I got from the divorce, from the sale of the house, it all went, and some. So it put me into a bad financial situation, really bad. I'm still dealing with, you know, credit card bills from then. And I maxed out every credit card I had, and you know, things like that. Like, I was doing so good. My credit score was really high. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy myself something now. I'm out of this abusive. Oh, I forgot to say that. Yeah, it was an abusive marriage too. So I'm out of that mess, and now I got myself in a bigger mess. So, you know, ugh, what could I say? You know, did I stay home and sad days? Absolutely. How could I not be? You know, it was a horrible thing. Nobody should ever go through that. Cancer is a horrible, horrible disease that is, you know, killed a lot of my friends. And I mean, my godmother got cancer because she smoked like 5 packs of cigarettes a day. And her husband just passed. She passed about 5 years ago, and he just passed because of her secondhand smoke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So cancer is I don't know. I'm just hoping that soon, with all the medical sciences and, you know, all the testing and everything. I mean, they did find something for my type of breast cancer, but a lot of cancers and breast cancers are not curable, and they come back, and sometimes it's worse. And I actually, another way that I dealt with it was I started a foundation, and it's called Paint Us Pink. And what my dream is to make enough money, either on my own through my filmmaking, or trying to raise money for this foundation to help women in the arts like me who don't get, I always freelanced. And so I never had like a real steady job that I would get paid, and I didn't get disability. I wasn't eligible for Social Security. I got nothing. So I had to go through all my own savings. And like, is that fair that you get sick and you have to go through all your own money? I was on my own. I had to pay my own rent. I had to pay my own bills. I had to pay and everything went bye-bye. So every month I just, lay it out until it went to zero and minus that. So I said, there really should be some kind of foundation for women that are in the arts that aren't eligible for disability or Social Security or any kind of help financially. I mean, there are organizations, but they look through all your they want all your bank account information, this and that. And, I mean, should people go through their retirement and everything? Should they not have a car if they're going through this? Like they really want to know everything about you. And like, I would never ask anybody, if I was really able to do this, I mean, if somebody is going to come to me, I mean, I'd ask them a couple of questions, but I'm not going to ask them for their bank account statements. What did I buy? I bought dog food. Oh, well, maybe you shouldn't have a dog if you can't afford it. Somebody said that to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm lucky that these dogs got me through divorce and cancer. They were like unconditional, and you're telling me I shouldn't have dogs and being alone. Oh, I should be completely alone, right? Thanks. Oh well, you have a car. Should I sell my car because I have cancer? What the hell is that going on here? I don't know what is happening. So it's I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I would love to be able to help people as much as I possibly can. If somebody says, "Oh, I can't pay my rent," I would love to be able to have the funds to pay some, give them rent money for a month or two or whatever. I would love to do that if I had the extra money to do that. So eventually I will create, I have it, but I just I haven't pursued it because of all of the legalities with having a nonprofit. There's a lot of money and all kinds of other stuff that's involved. And I will learn how to do all that. I will, and I promise, and I'm saying this on the air, I'm going to do this because it's another way of paying back, But I have helped people without having it I have helped people out financially and other ways. that have been going through stuff. So until I get it done legally, you know, it will eventually go through the foundation.
Okay. Has mental illness affected you in any way, as a any way personally, or as a caregiver,
Mm.
and or as a professional in the creative arts?
Yeah, a friend of mine had depression. He was a comedian. I don't really want to say his name because he was well known. And we were very, very good friends for over 20 years. And I found out, well, I went to go see him. He lived in California, and he came to New York to perform Carolines or all different places in the city. And I met him up at his hotel, and sometimes I would like help him out, put a little eye makeup on him, you know, like eyebrows, or do his hair for the show, you know.
Yeah.
So I was just getting some stuff together, and I saw all this stuff on the counter, all these pills. I was like, what? What is all this? Oh, I'm on some new antidepressant, blah, 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 whatever. And I see Ambien and this and that. I'm like, what is, you know, it's like too much. It just looked too much, like too much stuff. But then, all right, that's his life. You know, I couldn't say, I didn't know what these things were. So I saw he was acting a little bit strange, a little on the paranoid side, you know. And about 3 months later, I found out that he put a gun in his mouth and he blew his brains out.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I found that out through an email, you know, that my friend did that. And I still haven't gotten over it. It was like 7 years ago. And it affected me terribly. And, you know, you always say to yourself, well, if maybe I was the one that could have helped him, you know, maybe he would still be here. But I think that I think it was a cocktail of these different medications with Ambien, and it was a new antidepressant, and I don't think that it was studied enough. That's what that's my intuition, that something didn't work right, because he became crazy suicidal, and he was not like that. He wasn't. He was a happy, you know, he wasn't happy all the time, because a lot of comedians they have, you know, their issues with sadness and, you know, insecurities and whatever, but he had it under control, and we always had a great time, and, you know, and I think that mental illness just is not studied. There's not enough study, and I don't think it's taken seriously enough. I really don't think that it's taken seriously enough.
I really wish we could have worked together on my
Yeah.
film,
Yeah.
but you know, there's going to be other films,
Yeah.
and I tend to write under that theme.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, another thing is that my godchild has anorexia,
oh wow.
and she's been like this for like since she's 16, and she's like in her 40s now, and she's like, she weighs like 70 pounds or something, and she, you know, she's got like the body of a 90-year-old. She's got the bones of a 90-year-old woman. Worse, like she can't even pick up 5 pounds. Yeah, she can't even make her bed, you know. So, and she's been through tons of different
Treatments,
facilities, and yeah, rehabs and all of this, but nothing. I don't know. I don't know why there's not I don't know if there's a cure for eating disabilities. I'm not real. I don't know that
that's
much.
what that's what Annabelle's new movie is about.
Yeah.
The weight of perfection.
Yeah.
And she talked about her struggle with an eating disorder when she was on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I mean, I guess antidepressants could help. Maybe. I think it's just a vision that they see themselves in a.
They see it's called body dysmorphia.
Ah.
And what the outside, like me and you, see is not what they see.
They see, right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I really that's why I dedicated my birthday for mental illness, because I really truly believe that it's not studied enough. I don't think that there is enough of a study. I just worked on a print job that there's this new company. I made like I was the doctor, one of the doctor specialists, So a lot of those pictures when you see the specialists at the colleges or whatever, they're usually actors, because I was one of them. So, but I was curious. I'm like, why am I the doctor? Who am I? So it's this new a website, or like, that you could go in and it's kind of like WebMD, but
Yeah.
you could go in there and communicate with doctors and ask them questions about, like, let's say you have a friend, my friend's acting a little bit weird, a little suicidal, or eating weird, or, I don't know, I thought I heard him throwing up in the bath, something.
Yeah.
You could go and actually talk. You could, because, like, if you see something, say something, right? So you go and you talk to people, real professionals, and get your, and ask them questions, and at least you'll get some kind of feedback to be able to help somehow, whether the person is going to actually go and do something about it is something else, but at least that you made the effort to help them, and then you could refer them to this website too, and actually talk to the people. So I think that's really cool. I can't talk about it. I can't say the name because it hasn't come out yet, but it's going to be really big. It's going to be a really good thing.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Because at least people could be diagnosed with something, somehow.
Yeah.
And maybe some deaths or horrible things could be prevented somehow,
Yeah.
if people know, instead of thinking, oh, they're just crazy. Oh, they got, they must have ADD. They must have this. And, everybody's like trying to diagnose people. Oh, this one's bipolar. Oh, yeah, that one's, got this. Well, how do you know what it is? What are you, a doctor? Did they tell you what they have? Oh, yeah, this is crazy. Really? Oh, why are they crazy? Something's going on there. I want to know what it is. And it ain't just crazy.
Okay. You've kind of touched on this. What do you do to give back to the community that took care of you during your battle to wellness?
So, well, I have this paintuspink.com, and you could go there and see what I've done, and the people like Sarah Ferguson and Andrea Bocelli. They're friends of mine, and they have some videos from when I was sick, supporting me with it. And actually this year, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but a friend of mine, his name is Ed Heck, and he does these little paintings hearts with a little happy face in them, right? He's a huge artist. He's like getting to be kind of like a Keith Haring,
Yeah.
like a really, he's getting to be a big artist. And so he had given me one, a really sweet little painting. So I said, Ed, on New Year's Eve that day, I had to go to Sloan, Memorial Sloan Kettering, and get a biopsy and the ultrasound. I'm like, oh, on New Year's Eve, I got to go and do this. But I said, you know what? I got to do it, right? So I said I asked Ed if he would donate, because that's what he wants to do with these little happy face hearts. It's hearts, arts for hearts for art. That's what it is. These little, and that's what he wants to do. So I was like, could I have a few so I could give them out? I really wanted to go to the hospital and give them to the people in the chemo rooms, and some of my doctors and nurses. And because when you look at this little thing, it's so cute. It's got a little happy face, a little heart with a little happy face inside. And he's like, are you kidding me? So he's like, meet me in the morning. I'll buy you a breakfast. He comes with a big bag of all of these little paintings, right? I'm like, oh my God, I was so happy, right? So I go see my doctors, I do the mammogram, and I had this bag of stuff with these paintings, and I had to go put money in the meter. I run down, I'm in the elevator. I haven't given any out yet, right? And there's this woman with the turban on,
Yeah.
and I'm obviously completely bald, and her husband, and they got into the elevator, and both of their heads were down, and they looked really, really sad. And I said, oh my God, I took one out. I was like, could I give one of these to you? And all of a sudden she went, and she smiled, and the husband smiled. And oh my God, it was so cool that I was able to do this, and make these people smile after, just from a piece of art, and I was so happy. And then I went to go into the chemo rooms. And I went, oh yeah, I'm gonna go. I told the girls at the desk, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna give these. And then I saw the door, and I was like, oh my God, I haven't been in here in a year and a half. And I got freaked out, and I started crying. I was like, I can't go in there crying. What's the point of that? Right? Defeating the purpose. Put your big girl pants on, Kat. Put your big girl pants on. So I got myself together because I'm a crier, obviously. And I just got it together, and I went in there and I handed out these little paintings to these women in the rooms, and every one of them, no matter how sad they were, they put on this huge smile. And that was on New Year's Eve. And that was one of the coolest things I think I've ever done. It really it made me so happy. And I said, screw New Year's Eve. That I don't need to go out and go, blow horns. That was the best New Year's Eve I've ever had.
Obviously.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was
Okay.
super cool. Get me to smile again, Amy.
Okay, now on to the fun stuff.
Okay,
you are the festival director and creator of 2 festivals.
Yes.
Cutting Room Short Film Festival and the Venus Italian Film Festival.
Yes.
What inspired you to create each of these festivals, and what are they about?
Okay. The cutting room, if we go way back now to the beginning of the interview, the cutting room is a music venue where my paintings are, right? So I had made this little short, and I couldn't get like some of the like major actors to come to the festivals, because it's hard, them to just come unless they're getting an award, you know.
Yeah.
So I said I know that the cutting room has an amazing sound system because it's a music venue and it's kind of like a supper club. Um, so it would be a really nice venue for people to see, from all places around to the stage. And then I wanted to see if the projection was, I know they had a projector and a screen, but I didn't know if it was good quality enough, really good enough quality to screen films. So I said, let me try it, and I put this little screening together, and like over 100 of my friends showed up, and I handed out cannolis at the end. A little, and St. Joseph's, and everybody was like, yeah, you got to do a film festival here. You really, it should be the Cutting Room Film Festival. And I was like, that was in the back of my head the whole time, but I wanted so I was like, wow, what a great idea. So everybody thinks it was their idea, but it was something that I was looking to see if it would be appropriate, if everybody could see from all angles, because there's poles and things, in the room. And everybody was like quiet through the whole film. And, I'm like, wow, everybody could really see and they're comfortable. And I'm like, this is great. So I started it. I figured out how to do it on Film Freeway, and I made a website. I made the Film Freeway website, and I just went for it, and I started getting submissions, and a lot from my friends, because there's a big community of actors in New York, and going through all the festivals too, I've met a lot of actors that have independent shorts, and I suggested it. And as a director, I'm allowed to give discounts if I want.
Yes.
And I'm allowed to give, awards to who I want to.
Yes.
So I like all that, and I also, I gave Tim Busfield, this was cool. Tim Busfield, I gave an a type of lifetime achievement award to. And it was another pay it forward, because he gave me one of my first speaking parts.
Oh, awesome.
On Ed. Yeah. In like 2000, in year 2000, he approached me and said, Kat, I think, there's a little part for you if you want it. If I wanted, are you kidding me? I was doing a lot of stand-in stuff on the show, and they kept promising me that they were going to give me a part, and he did, and so I was able to. I gave him an award after he gave me this part, 19 years ago. So it was really cool that I was able to do that. And I also gave an award to John Gallagher, who's an amazing independent director in New York. He's like one of the big ones out here. So that was nice too. And we had, over the 2 days, we had over 530 people come through the festival. It was pretty amazing. I mean, the rooms, the whole place only holds like 300 people. And we had over 300 just for the award show. So it was extremely successful, and it became an IMDb award winning festival. In the first year, usually you have to be a successful festival for 5 years in order to have that status. And because of the reviews of the festival, they gave it to me like the day after. So
Nice.
yeah. So then so we're definitely doing it again this year, October 19th and 20th. So it's CRISFF.com, Chris. The Cutting Room International Short Film Festival, or you could go into that, but I also bought Chris, so people didn't have to write all that out. That domain, CRISFF. And it was, I mean, people came from all over the world. I had someone come from England and just all over. It was really cool. Italy and India. Somebody came from Mumbai. And he
Nice.
told me he kept writing to me, telling me he was gonna come. I didn't believe him. I'm like, oh, he just probably wants an award. You know, he came from Mumbai. It was really cool. It was super cool that he was there. And so yeah, he had a great short and I gave him an award for that too. So anyway, so I had that, and then Dell Weston from the AOF festival
Yes.
had approached me and Alexander Guarino and said, well, she's from Italy, she's Italian, and I'm first generation Italian. He said, would you guys want to direct a an Italian festival out of one of the 15? Are there now? How many?
There's like 16 festivals.
It just keeps growing.
It's like
So out of the whatever amounts of festival, 15, 16, whatever, would you want to do an Italian one? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. And not realizing that it is a niche, a little bit of a niche of, to do something like that in America, try to get strictly Italian films is really hard. So we're just doing all kinds of genres of Italian films besides getting them from Italy as well. If there's an Italian actor in the film, if there's,
yeah, if it's about Italian culture, me and
Italian culture, documentaries.
Yeah.
I got some unbelievable documentaries. Oh my God. It was so crazy. This one documentary that was submitted, it ends up that the man that it was about, this woman's father, was from my father's town.
Wow.
I'm like, what? How is this? This tiny little town near Sorrento, And I'm like, did they just say Vico Equenze? That's where my family is. How weird is that? And he used to love to make mozzarella and all this stuff. And you'll see it. It's a beautiful documentary. And we also have, this is really cool, Maria Cuomo, who's Mario Cuomo, the governor of New York, passed. This was his daughter, and her husband is Kenneth Cole, right? So she's Maria Cuomo. Yeah, Maria Cuomo Cole. And I had the pleasure of meeting her and working with her on a documentary once. And so I was going through all of these resources, and I saw that she actually did a documentary. It's called Living for 32. And it was, I forgot the school, but there was like a horrible shootout in a school. Yeah, and killed 32 people. I haven't watched it yet because I have so many films to watch between the two festivals, but I got this documentary from her. and I'm trying to get her to the festival. That would be really cool. I would love to have Maria there, you know. She's a wonderful person. I mean, we have some really, really great films. Figs for Italo, Bob Selly. His film is so beautiful. We have comedies, this film Santino. We have, of course, we're going to play St. Joseph because we have to. And we just have tons and tons of really great films.
You're putting on quite a party for the award ceremony.
Oh, and that. Well, you know, if I'm going to throw a party, it's going to be great.
Well, tell everybody about it.
Okay. So I said, all right, it's got to be in an Italian theme, right? So I had spoken to Jimmy Mullador, who's actually going to perform as a special guest there at the festival. Did I tell you that?
No,
Yes.
I didn't know that. I knew that Joey Malati was, but I didn't know that Jimmy Mullador was.
Yes. Jimmy's going to perform. And also, did you know that Dinner with Della is going to be at this place too?
Yeah.
Yay! So it's at the Italian American social club. It's called the Social Club. This is a place that has history, that where the Rat Pack used to perform, right? So it's got all these pictures of like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. and all these people all over the walls, like if the walls could talk in there, you know? And so this is where we're going to have the awards night.
So who's hosting?
Well, we have, I mean, it's who's singing or who's actually putting it on. I mean,
No.
it's me and
on
Alex.
your website, it says who's hosting, and there's a picture of you, and then there's pictures of two other people, and they are actors.
Oh, well, we have Gary Anthony is going to sing. We have Jimmy, and we have Joey Malati, and I don't know who else is going to be there. Who else was on now?
You announced Danny Aiello.
Yeah, but I don't know if Danny is coming now. I don't know. I know it was at the beginning when we had him on there, but I don't know. I'm hoping he does. But I'm hoping Frank D'Angelo is going to be there. That's his film.
Yeah. So. He always has something.
Yeah, and he's Italian, so yeah he has Making a Deal with the Devil. Isn't that the name of his film?
It was The Last Great Save.
The Last Great Save?
The Last Big Save.
That was last year, wasn't it?
That was his script.
Oh. I thought it was Making a Deal with the Devil is the name of his
movie. It might be. I don't know.
It is. That's the one that Danny's in.
I trust you.
I don't know. Did Del tell you something different? I don't know.
No, I don't know anything.
Don't mind us, people. I don't know.
I don't know anything. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't answer that. But we are going to have lots of celebrities. I'm inviting a lot of people. We hope they all show up, and it's going to be a cocktail hour from 6 to 7. And then there's going to be Italian food. And Gary Anthony, if you look him up, he embodies Frank Sinatra, and he actually looks like him too. He sounds he's one of the best Frank Sinatra impersonators. And he's just incredible, an amazing performer. Joey Malati he's the musical director for Barry Manilow. So and Jimmy Malati is like, he's an icon. You know, he's played with the best. He actually played with Frank Sinatra in the Rat Pack years ago, you know, so he's an icon. So it's going to be a great big band, and then the awards. And the awards are going to be great. I already have the awards that I'm going to give out.
What do they look like?
I can't tell you.
Yes, you can.
No, it's a surprise.
Okay, so now finally, let's have a little fun. If
Okay.
your life was a movie, what would the title be?
Psycho. No. God, what would it be? Believe it or not.
Okay. If you could cast anyone in the world to portray you in your life story, who would it be?
Oh my God. Who would portray me? Uh,
Dale said himself. Joanne has said Sandra Bullock.
I probably. I'm thinking Marissa Tomei. I think so. I mean, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I never thought of that. I would like to play myself, but I don't know.
Okay. If you were to win an Academy Award, what would you say in your acceptance
Oh
speech?
my God. Are you sure? Really? Did this happen? Wow. I would thank everybody that ever supported me, you know? It's
Give
and
you
I
a,
would thank God for my life that I was able to stand there at that point and be able to receive such an honor. I've been through a bunch. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And finally, what piece of advice do you have for young up and coming actors about how to handle the pressures and rejections that come with the acting life?
Um, there's always going to be rejections. There's going to be a lot more rejections than there are going to be acceptances. To be an actor, you have to want to do that and only that. You have to live and breathe acting. You have to constantly create and take classes and refine your craft. Um, I'm always taking classes because there's always something you're going to get out of it, and you're always getting feedback. You get feedback from your colleagues that are in the class, and you're constantly working. You know, so you have to constantly. It's not just like, oh, I don't know why I'm not getting parts. Blah blah blah. First of all, you have to have a really great headshot. You have to invest in that. Um, and a really good resume, and you have to go really. Show business is a business. You have to really think of it as a business too. It's not only just acting. It's a business, and the agents and the managers want to make money, and they want to make money on you. So if you are good enough for them, then they'll send you out, you know? So it's a business. And you have to create relationships with these people.
It's like the relationship business.
You definitely have to create relationships. I've met so many people at AOF last year that
Yeah.
it changed my life.
And what changes lives? It
It
really
changed
does.
my life. It really did. I mean, Dell called me a month after I submitted. No, it wasn't even a month yet. I had just submitted the film, right? And
Right.
some festivals were calling me, and I'm like, oh, they're just calling me because Vinny's in it, and they found out that Vinny's in the film, and all right. And when Dell called, he's like, oh, this is Del Weston from the AOF festival. I was like, oh, I just submitted to your festival. That's so weird that you're calling me. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, he saw it. He loved it. He loves all the films that play at his festival.
Yeah.
And if he picks your film or script, it's because he loved it.
Yeah.
And if you come, AOF is a place where you can really.
It's amazing, so I was like, wow, he's like, yeah, I know, I just watched it. And he says, oh, it made me feel so good, and whatever, and he just expressed how much he liked it. And I was like, wow, you really watched it so fast. He's like, oh, it brought joy to my life.
Right?
So that was really cool. I mean, I had just finished editing it, and that was one of the first festivals that I had submitted to, and so it ends up that then we started chit-chatting over the next couple of months, and then we were like, I text him, hey, how are you? And then he's like, look at the newsletter or something, on the website at 9:00 tonight. I'm like, why? I'll just look at it. Okay.
Just do what he said.
Just do it. Okay. And I see that this article that he made. If you don't know Kathrina Miccio with pictures of me and all this, if you don't know her, well, you know her now. She is the AOF first lady of film. Or I'm like, a what? And and I was like, oh my God, how cool is that? So after just making this little film that touched him somehow, and so I guess he saw, and I told him my story of why I made it, and to pay back, for my life. And I think it he's that type of person.
Yeah,
He,
that touched. Yeah,
it touched him.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff gets to him, and then my life has changed since then. I met the most amazing people. I met you.
Yeah.
Remember, we met at the court.
I reached out to you.
I was like, hey, we went to each other like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was so tired, and I did not feel good.
I had just gotten in that day too.
I was so jet lagged, and I was gonna go see a friend's movie at 10 p.m., but like at 9, I said, I ain't got any gas left.
Right.
But okay. John, are you gonna join us?
If you want me to.
Yeah, show your face.
Show your face. Actually, I have a face I want to show. Look at that, huh?
God.
Hey!
You
You said Marissa Tomei, and I was like, you know what? She would be fantastic to play you, Kat.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, if it's not you.
Let's set out that intention, and it'll happen.
Marissa? Well, first of all, is the screenplay written?
My life?
Yes.
My life? No.
You should
Wait.
write it.
I'll write it.
So yeah, great interview. Great personal story, and just energetic. There were at times where like the desktop audio of the broadcasting thing was like in the red because you two were but it was fantastic. Now your little dog sleeping over there in the corner behind you, he just curled up and just kind of said, forget it, I'm out of here and going to sleep.
Oh my God, you see my little
Yeah. It was super cute. He just kind of was there, like being a support for you the whole time. He's like, is this interview over yet? Can someone please scratch my butt?
You were on TV? What? Look at her.
The whole time. Like,
You were
if
on
you
TV the
if
whole
you go
time?
back and watch the replay, you can see him like kind of cuddle up, looks at you, and then just kind of like boop, 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 boop.
Baby.
So
I
good
didn't
interview,
know
everyone.
she was there. That's so funny.
Yeah, it was so. It was nice to meet you, even
Nice
if it
to
was
meet
virtually. Great interview, Amy
Yes.
and Kat.
So it was great.
So you close it out, Amy.
I know, Amy, we're always usually just texting, but we don't, we haven't talked. I've missed
we don't
you. I
exchange
miss
like
talking.
because I'm usually up late because I don't sleep well. Well, why don't we play the trailer to play us out?
All right, sounds good.
And I want to talk to you a little bit after.
All right, everyone, here's the Letters to Daniel trailer. Filming in a month? A little bit over a month.
A little bit less than 7 weeks.
And, Kat, how do you say your last name proper?
Miccio.
And Kat Miccio, everyone, with an awesome interview.
Kathrina.
I know, Kathrina.
Oh,
In there. It's in there on the. It's in on the name of the video. And
thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
yeah, you did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
So did you, Amy.
Not shy anymore. No more coconuts.
Dear Daniel, life did not always look like this. They say life happens when you're busy making other plans. For me, it was bipolar disorder. It crept in and systematically, quickly dissembled my ability to function in society and rendered me scared, lost, and lonely. I lost the ability to focus, and the simplest of tasks became too overwhelming. Even though it felt like I had been abandoned, I still had one person in my corner out there on the front lines with me. Missy Goodman, writing partner, best friend, soul sister, caregiver. This disease will bury you if it goes untreated. But with the help of medication, therapy, and the support of an amazing caregiver, I've gone on to be in a one-day-at-a-time recovery and have a career in the arts. This is the story of how me and Missy got there together. This is Letters to Daniel.